2,600 years ago in northern India, a prince named Siddhartha gained enlightenment under the shade of a papaw tree. For 6 long years, Siddhartha searched for the answer to the cessation of suffering in life. Today, over 500 million people practice Buddhism. The teachings of Siddhartha, who became the Buddha, the one who is awake. In April of 2018, I made a journey to Bodhgaya in northern India on my own spiritual journey. Having dealt with my own ups, downs, suffering, pain, and addiction, I was curious to find out more about the teachings of the Buddha. I found myself on the bustling, busy streets in northern India, and eventually I made my way to the Mahabodhi Temple, the crown jewel of the Buddhist faith. Bodhgaya can be compared to Mecca for Muslims, or the Wailing Wall for Judaism. I also visited Lumbini, Nepal, where the Buddha was born, and Sarnath, where the Buddha taught his first sermon, and Kushinagar, where the Buddha, after 80 years of life, he gained his final Mahaparinirvana and passed away into eternal bliss. This was a very special journey for me. It was transformative. It was more than just a trip. I have to hold the camera out to just sit back and say to Dr. Telly Kapali, and I remember sitting on the brink of suicide and drugs and alcohol, and it was all so wow. I was sitting on the brinks of drugs and alcohol, and in a hospital on the 4th floor at the Atlanta VA, not knowing whether I wanted to live or die. Now I'm 12 days in India on a Buddhist pilgrimage, and for some people it might be just a vacation, but gosh, I got tears. It's so much more. It's the possibilities. It's a new lease on life and having hope again. It's more than just about seeing the place of the Buddha, which are awesome. It's the teachings of love and compassion, and it's just amazing. From my first view of the Mahabodhi Temple, I knew something was special. And as I walked through the arch, I started to feel an energy. There was a quiet, calm, strong, peaceful force that I felt as I walked around it. I went through the inside of the temple and saw this golden Buddha, ornately dressed, and I could start to feel the presence of Gautama Buddha and his teachings of compassion and love. As I walked around the side of the Mahabodhi Temple, I started to get a glimpse of that papaw tree. And as I turned the corner, I could hear the chants, the songs, the tears of the hundreds of monks and nuns and lay people that have come from all corners of the world to worship and give offerings to the Buddha. These people had dedicated their lives and decided to make a commitment, as I did, to make a pilgrimage to this very sacred place. I have to say, the tree was amazing and massive. It is the 4th generation tree taken from the original tree that Siddhartha sat under. And this is a view of what they call the Diamond Throne, the exact place where the Buddha sat and gained enlightenment 2,600 years ago. Bodhgaya was simply amazing. There were monks from Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, China, Tibet. I can't even name all the countries. The symbolism, the fact that the Buddha actually spent 7 weeks here after his enlightenment, meditating, contemplating, coming to terms with the fact that he had found the middle path, the way to end suffering in this world. As I walked around and saw the many, many statues and the intricate carvings that were on the temple itself, I was absolutely in amazement. I walked around and saw the pallets, the umbrellas, the places where the monks from all over the world were conducting prostrations in submission and honor and reverence to the Buddha and his teachings. There were 7 very special places at Mahabodhi Temple complex where the Buddha, after his enlightenment, studied and contemplated the many aspects of the Dharma or the teachings of Buddhism. The temple itself is simply amazing. It has been built, destroyed, and rebuilt, but yet it stands as a testament to the dedication of a prince that gave up everything to find a way to give man a path to end suffering and pain in this world. Bodhgaya, among all the other places, holds a very special place in my mind and my heart. I struggle to find the words that say what this place means to me. The stories associated with the Buddha's enlightenment and the time that he spent near Bodhgaya are just simply amazing. I wanted this video not to be so much a chronological or historical account of what happened at Bodhgaya. I think that you can find that anywhere that you decide to look. I just wanted to convey how I felt, what this place meant to me as a veteran from the U.S. Army that deals with depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder. I've had my battles with drug abuse and alcoholism and suicide attempts, and being introduced to mindfulness in a mental ward after a suicide attempt. A doctor from India suggested that I start studying mindfulness and meditation. And he said nothing about the Buddha, but mindfulness and meditation led me to start studying the teachings of the Buddha And what I love about Buddhism is that even though we worship the Buddha and his teachings, the Buddha is not a god. He was simply a man who learned how to keep his mind still and find a cessation to suffering in life. I was so lucky to find my friend here, Adip, an Indian Buddhist monk, who here was teaching me about the 5 precepts and some of the other teachings of Buddhism. And this is why this journey was so special. He was one of so many people that I met at so many different places along this trip that showed me that there is a way to end this suffering. I really have to say that Bodhgaya, Sarnath, Kushinagar, Lumbini, they were all special. But to come here and follow in the footsteps of the Buddha was the ultimate experience. And I am so grateful for having had the opportunity to be here. Namaste.